Peyton, first of all, good to see you.
Thanks for having me.
What does it mean to you to be named the golf ambassador?
I'm very honored. When you look at the previous winners and just the past couple, Steph Curry and President Bush, and obviously the numerous golfers. But golf's been a part of my sports journey. It was a great way to get away with some teammates. But people kind of laugh at me, but I actually felt like some of my Colts and Broncos teammates sort of bonded on the golf course, and it actually helped us win a game in November. Now, people laugh at that, but I believe it's true, because in the off season, you're only allowed to be over at the facility for a certain amount of time. You go over there and lift weights, watch some film, and then you're free. A lot of times we went and played golf, and it was a great bonding thing. Obviously playing with my dad a lot growing up, great memories there. And people ask kind of what's my favorite foursome. I would say my dad, my two brothers. We don't get together as much, being spread out all over the country, and so golf kind of brings us together. So I'm very honored to receive this award. I like the game, have great respect for the game, and it's a tremendous honor. Now,
is this all positive, or are there responsibilities that come with being the golf ambassador? It sounds like a pretty heady title.
I tell you, like I said, the game's important to me. I live in Denver now. I was kind of the honorary chair of the U.S. Amateur last year at Cherry Hills, and Tiger and I played against Mickelson and Brady a couple years ago in a golf match, big give back to kind of food hunger and whatnot. So, it's a great way to raise money, obviously. It's a great way, like I said, to bond with your teammates and friends. And so, I don't take it lightly. I don't, certainly don't play football anymore, so golf's kind of the one sport that I still play in and enjoy it. So I will hopefully make the committee proud of who they voted for this year.
I'm sure you're pitched a million different television projects after your smashing success with the ManningCast.
Thanks.
What made you say yes to the Olympic opening ceremonies?
I think it's just a unique opportunity to be in Paris. I went to the Olympics in '96 when I was in college in Atlanta. My family and I were set to go in Tokyo, then obviously the pandemic hit, you couldn't go. So Mike Tirico kind of approached me about doing it. They were going to sort of change it up and just sort of celebrate these athletes. Paris is doing it differently. Athletes are on boats coming down the Seine, getting dropped off at the Eiffel Tower. I was like, I'd like to be a part of that and witness that. I tried to remind them that I wasn't in the Olympics, and I'm not sure I'm qualified, but I do have an appreciation for the journey that it takes to get to that big moment in your sports career. And so I've enjoyed these past several months talking to the different American athletes about their journey, about what happened 4 years ago and their climb to get back. And it's way different than football, right? You lose a game in football, hey, there's always next year. Olympics, there's 4 years, and you might not get back. The trials, and so I have great appreciation for these athletes. But took a little French in high school, and told my mom I'd take her to Paris one day, and here I am 30 years later, making good on my promise.
You're a good man, Peyton. Are we going to see Peyton Manning from ManningCast, or are we going to see the buttoned-up Mike Tirico version of Peyton Manning?
Good question. I just got off a little preparation Zoom call with Mike. Kelly Clarkson is our other co-host. She is just a lot of fun. So, actually, I think it's going to be such a spectacle that kind of the last piece of advice I just got was, hey, when in doubt, just sort of don't say anything, just kind of watch. I went, I can do that. I definitely can, sit out and watch. And so I think it's going to be such just an incredible spectacle of celebrating Paris. They're doing it way differently than all the other cities have done in the past. But I think, when you get to the athletes on the boats and, just talking to these athletes and kind of telling them what that scene's going to be like. Some of them kind of gotten emotional because I say, hey, what do you think you're going to be thinking about being on that boat? And it's their mom that drove them to swim practice every day since they were 5. It's the injury they had 3 years ago that, kept them from, going to the Olympics 4 years ago. So I have great appreciation for those journeys and the hardships. And so hopefully I get a chance to kind of tell some of those stories as to what these athletes are thinking about.
Has Eli tried to work his way in and tag along?
There's still time. He hasn't yet, but knowing Eli, he'll find a way. And if he showed up in Paris somehow, it would not surprise me.
The success of the ManningCast, has that caught you off guard?
Very much so.
How did that whole thing come to be? Because it really is one of those lightning in a bottle strokes of television genius.
Well, thanks. Obviously, during the pandemic, so many things being done remotely, including some broadcasts. And I've been approached by the networks about doing the traditional broadcasting. My dad said no to some things when he stopped playing football that would have taken him away from being a part of his kids' lives, right? Our Little League basketball games, our youth sporting events. He was there in the stands, and that was important to me. So I didn't want to miss those opportunities with our kids. And so, as you know, in traditional broadcasting, there are no home games, right? I mean, you're gone every single weekend, and I didn't want to miss that. So anyway, pandemic hits, remote broadcast. I said, hey, I could do that. I could get Eli. He's unemployed. I could get him, and we could maybe do this from home. And kind of thought it might be a 1 or 2 year little wonder deal. And all of a sudden, this is our 4th year. We just got renewed for a number of more seasons. I do it from my neighbor Scott's garage in Denver. Eli does it from his kind of back house in New Jersey. I go to my daughter's volleyball games on Monday, drive over to Scott's garage and call a game, and then I'm home, at 9:30 and, tuck my kids in. So the game's important to me, defending the game's important to me, growing the game's important to me, and to do it and still be a part of your kids' lives I feel like we're sort of beating the system in some ways, but I really enjoy doing it, and I enjoy working with Eli.
I have to ask you a couple of football questions before we let you go. Obviously, we're in Cleveland, and you have the relationship with Jimmy Haslam. The roster is there. The big question, obviously, is Deshaun Watson going to be the old Deshaun Watson?
Sure.
How do you assess the Browns' chances coming into the 2024 season, and how pivotal is it that he returns to that level of play?
Well, that's what everybody is hoping for, certainly, and Deshaun's just got to go out there and get the reps and do it, right? It's hard, I think, to get into a flow when you're playing some, you're injured, you're not playing some, and to get into a rhythm as a quarterback is the most important thing. And so hopefully Deshaun and Kevin can have a full 17 games together, right? Play caller, calling plays into one quarterback, and just building over the course of the season some rhythm and continuity. So it starts there. Look, when you have Myles Garrett in that defense, you don't have to go out there and just light it up with 35 points. Knowing that, let's protect the ball. Let's go beat the Steelers 21-20, right? Go beat the Ravens 17-14. I mean, the division is, I think it's the hardest division in football. I mean, the Bengals, Joe Burrow, like, where did that come from, right? And so it's not going to be easy, but I'm pulling for Deshaun. I like Kevin Stefanski. I like the way he coaches, and I think, look, I'm a big fan of the Haslam family. They're a Tennessee family, and I know they want to get it right, and they're committed to getting it right. So I could see the Browns making a little run this year.
We like to hear that.
Yeah.
What about the Broncos and Bo Nix? Like, where are they on this spectrum of NFL hierarchy?
Yeah, I mean, same thing. I mean, it kind of starts with the quarterback, right? And so Bo Nix was drafted. Look, he's 24. He's married. He's not your typical rookie quarterback. He is very mature. He started 60-something games, something that will never, ever happen again. He used the COVID year and played more games than anybody ever has. That's going to work to his advantage. He's got a pretty good look in his eye. Been out to a few practices. He's not overwhelmed by the moment. There's a team called the Chiefs that are in our division, which just seem to be somewhat of a problem for everybody. They're not going anywhere. Patrick Mahomes just seems like he just wants to be better every year, which is not good for NFL defenses. And now the Chargers just hired Jim Harbaugh. They're about to, I think, be good again. So just like the Browns, if we're going to go and get it, like, you got to go pass some people up. Nobody's coming back to you. And I'm still, look, Tennessee Vols, Indianapolis Colts, Denver Broncos. I'm all in every single Saturday and Sunday. So hopefully all three of them have good years.
Of the teammates that you played with, and we'll speak specifically to Denver, there were some great athletes there.
Sure.
Champ Bailey, Demaryius Thomas. Which of all of your former teammates in Denver would have made the best Olympian, and what would their event have been?
It's a great question. I actually texted with LeBron on the way down here. I said, I'm coming back to Akron, your hometown. He and I are set to have a little, I'm going to interview him for the Olympics in a few days. He was headed to Abu Dhabi for a basketball game. I said, all right, call me after that. So, look, I was always jealous that there wasn't football in the Olympics. Like, flag is coming in 2028, and that'll be interesting. But, like, what event could I do in the Olympics? None. Zero. There's not one option, right? So I think
the javelin?
The athletes, no chance, right? The athletes that are in the Olympics, they deserve to be there because they're Olympic athletes. But yeah, I mean, look, could Von Miller or Demaryius Thomas or Marvin Harrison have done something in the Olympics? Absolutely, right? Track something. But me, Eli, no chance.
Peyton, thanks.
Thanks, Jay.
I appreciate it.
Okay,
man.
you got it.
Well done.